What do you really want to buy but cannot afford? My aunt's land. She had a piece of land that she doesn't have any use. Got it from my late grandfather due to inheritance. When I was little, I used to work on that land for farmings and stuff. I kinda had a lot PF memories in that piece of land. My issue is, her only child got married with a drug addict and both are unemployed with multiple kids. What I fear is once she was gone, her daughter will get that land and her son-in-law would probably sold that land to other peoples to buy more drugs. It's kinda sad imagining if that happens. Need a new kitchen and probably need a new car. I'm not even having a special car in mind. Just a car to transport my family and stuff. The kitchen is much needed. Our current one is more than nearly 30 years old. We need new devices and new cabinets. I think I'll come across some self-build stuff with some vintage stuff but new devices, and hopefully our car can be fixed. Anna understand, and barely figure out how to move to act the way I intended, so I just cope with those shackles and live in peace with them. Even if they led to misunderstanding, just try my best. Thinking about getting an expensive camera for birding. I haven't really been into photography, but I'm starting to see how useful it could be while birding. Sometimes I catch a quick glimpse of a bird, but not long enough to ID it for sure. I figure if I can snap a pic, I could try to ID it later at home with all my field guides. But I cannot afford it. In dire straits home-wise if we hadn't offered them a room each. It hasn't been easy for any of us being squashed into the house. I do feel so lucky that we could make the offer in the first place. A colonoscopy, I developed polyps, so I need to do it more frequently than the typical. I can't get a straight answer from my insurance company or provider whether it will be covered. Out-of-pocket expense $7,400. A toilet. This isn't as sad as it seems, lol. I have 3 working bathrooms in my house, large family. But I have a shed office and want a fancy composting toilet pilot. And they are like $2,300. I'd really want to buy about 15 million modern combat drones operating on different frequencies and able to modulate in out frequency for Ukrainian armed forces. Unfortunately, I can't afford it. Some groceries for me, my son, and my kitty cats. Things are really rough here. I'm a widow, and I'm struggling. Waiting on colonoscopy results to see if my tumor is cancerous or not. A house, not a fancy one. Not a big one. Just a house. 2 bedrooms and a bathroom would be enough. My only hope is to win the lottery or get hit by an Amazon delivery truck. A car, buying a Honda Novi next month to get by, but it won't take me everywhere. Hopefully after that I can work on that being my next mode of transportation. Time off. I am exhausted and want a long break from working, but made some bad decisions. When I was young, so just got to pour Red Bull into my eyes and keep going. The essentials. I'm doing better than in the past. But it's still a hard road to hoe. Food, medicine, and a car are looking distant for the moment. A house overlooking the sea, high up enough to compensate for rising sea levels. Preferably in Terra del Fuego. Nice rough seas there. A lovely house opposite the beach. I don't have grandiose tastes. I'd be happy with good old St. Kilda. I'm going to do it one day. Meta Quest 3. PS5. A gaming PC. Asus ROG phone. Steam Deck or Asus ROG Ally. Or GPD Winfor or iNeo Flip DS. My own home. Accepting the fact that I can never afford a house or apartment in today's economy. A house with enough land, so I can fool myself into believing that I am alone on this planet. A time machine, because apparently they're not cutting deals. Even on Black Friday. 2010 Mini Cooper. Clut 19. Rolex Submariner. Collection of Penhaligon's perfumes. More high-end guitar gear, which is counterintuitive, as I don't play often. A coffee table. The one I want is $2,000. My dining table was 1 to the cost. A new floor for my kitchen to replace the 5-year-old temporary floor. I want to buy about $45K worth of programming for my startup. Another car, Can't afford it. Current one has over 409,000 kilometers on it. Cabin in the woods. Or at least a lot to build one. My life dream. Clock 24 by human. But alas, they are simply too expensive. A huge setup for flight sims with all the fancy screens and toes. I need new shoes. Mine are converting into sandals already. Stem cell surgery for my brother's spinal cord injury.